I've been at this manifesting game for about 7 years now, and I can absolutely tell you that mental dieting is the hardest technique to do and that it isn't even necessary anyway. Hi, I'm Amy, and welcome to my channel. I'm a relationship coach and a manifesting teacher, and this channel's all about merging spirituality and psychology so you can manifest your relationships. And in today's video, I'm going to discuss mental dieting because I think this is one of the top techniques that people use in order to manifest something. But mental dieting does not work for everybody, and it certainly didn't work for me. And here's why. So if it is that you are trying a mental diet, you're finding it really exhausting and you're not getting any results from, I'm there with you because I tried so hard to mental diet my way out of difficult feelings, difficult situations and circumstances. And actually, it didn't really do anything. It didn't really give me the permanent changes that I wanted. It didn't manifest what I wanted either. If it is that you're new to this and you don't know what a mental diet is, a mental diet is basically flipping your thoughts consistently throughout the day. So if you have a negative thought throw up to you, you are supposed to change it to the positive. Essentially, that is what a mental diet is. However, you have 60,000 thoughts a day. And if you are spending your day trying to catch all of these thoughts, all of these 60,000 thoughts, of course you are going to get exhausted and of course you are going to struggle. Now, I'm not saying that people don't get results from mental dieting. Of course they do, otherwise no one would do it. But what I'm saying is, on a permanent basis, this is not the best use of your time, and it certainly is not the easiest way to manifest the things that you want. And there is a good reason for this, because your thoughts that come up are a product or a manifestation of the beliefs that you hold. So let's say, for example, you have a core belief of I'm not worthy, and you will have, as a manifestation of this belief, your habitual thinking habits will support that belief. So you can change those thoughts all day long if you want to, but unless you're changing that core belief, you are still going to have thoughts of why you're unworthy, memories about being unworthy. You are going to see through the lens of unworthy and spot all the ways why that's true. So you flipping your thoughts is not actually going to change your beliefs, and it certainly isn't going to change how you feel or how you feel on a consistent basis. And certainly within the community, I've seen examples of people who have had unwanted circumstances, and they're just being told that, oh, you mustn't have done your mental diet right. And this really irks me, because it isn't that you're not doing it right. This circumstance has got nothing to do with your mental diet. It's been put there to show you what you believe about yourself, not what you're thinking, what you believe about yourself. So you're tackling manifestation from a really surface level, because you don't manifest what you think. Every fleeting thought that you have isn't manifesting. It's who you are that is manifesting. It's who you are and who you identify as that is being reflected back into your external world. It's your subconscious patterns that are being reflected out into the external world. It is how you feel consistently that is being reflected back into the external world, not the thoughts that you're thinking. You know, and I've been there before where I've done mental dieting and I've hated every second of it and nothing's changed. But the only real permanent changes I saw was where I actually looked at what my core beliefs were, how I was feeling on a consistent basis, and who I was actually identified as, and worked on changing that. So I took thoughts out of the equation completely and let them be there, not worrying really that they were going to manifest, because my belief system was already manifesting. And in the end, I started to feel quite deluded, because, you know, I was telling myself that something hadn't upset me when it clearly had, or that this unwanted circumstance was not happening when it clearly was. And I was pushed into a state of denial where I wouldn't address or accept what was happening in front of me, and I was just consistently flipping my thoughts all the time. And it started to make me feel really, really bad because I was suppressing a lot of what I was feeling. So when I actually started to do the work on my core beliefs, and when I say doing the work, I mean shadow work, inner child work, where I was actually addressing where these beliefs actually come from and bringing them up at the root to release them, I stopped having these thoughts automatically because they were no longer a part of my identity. That belief wasn't something that was within my subconscious anymore, so I stopped thinking the thoughts that were a manifestation of that belief. And that is where the really permanent results came from. When I started to work on my own inner security, my own inner worthiness, and started to perceive myself as a worthy person, I stopped having thoughts that made me think that I was unworthy. I didn't have to flip anything. I didn't have to change anything. I didn't need to monitor my thoughts. I didn't need to robotically affirm. I didn't need to do subliminals at nighttime anymore because that belief wasn't there anymore. So how do you do that? You identify what the beliefs are, and a really good way to do this is to really start checking in with yourself and how you habitually feel about things. So let's take, for example, unworthiness. So I would habitually feel unworthy, so much so that I'd stopped noticing it because it became so ingrained into who I was and what I was identifying as. I stopped noticing how unworthy I was, but I would keep seeing it. But I would just accept that that's just the way things are, that these things always happen to me. To really address that core belief of unworthiness, I had to tackle it head on. I had to really look at, okay, where does this come from? Why do I think this? What patterns in my life are as a result of this belief? How do I behave from this belief? How do I walk about my day in this belief? So, in other words, how are you subconsciously reaffirming this belief in your day-to-day life? So this could be promising that you'll do something and you don't do it, breaking promises to yourself, breaking your own trust, not seeing opportunities. You're in a dialogue, how you are speaking to yourself. And notice all of these things and start to break those patterns systematically. And when you break these patterns, you stop affirming that belief that you don't want. So you stop acting from or living in the end of unworthiness, and you start to then think to yourself, okay, how would a worthy person see this situation? Are they going to see it as, oh, this means that I'm not good enough? Or are they going to see it as something else? A few years ago, I was so desperate for my person to move in with me. And every time he told me no, this unworthiness wound came up. And I made it mean that there was a problem with me, that I wasn't worthy of a committed relationship or the relationship that I wanted every time. And I would walk into this every single time. And the pattern would remain the same. I would feel needy and desperate. I would pressure to move in with me. He would say no. I would feel unworthy and think, oh, I'm not good enough. But actually what was really happening is that he had his own trauma. He had his own wounds. It was nothing to do with how worthy or unworthy I was. He needed to do some work on his own stuff. And incidentally, when I'd stopped making it mean that I was unworthy, that's when things changed, because the relationship that I wanted, unworthiness didn't belong there. Likewise, the manifestation wasn't available in the unworthy state. So I had to really heal the unworthiness, let it go, so I could move into worthiness where the manifestation was available. But I didn't do that from flipping my thoughts. In fact, it probably would have taken me years to flip my thoughts enough so that I'd saw movement. And this happened when I'd sort of changed how I was going about this. It happened within a really short time scale, within 4 months. And that is because I embodied the state of worthiness. I wasn't thinking that I was worthy. I was feeling, believing and behaving like I was. So I hope that video helps. If you need any help with this, pop a comment below and I will do my best to answer it, but I will see you in the next video.